point, actually. And I just want to bring in Talal very briefly on this. Some say that the political question that Sharmini was hinting at just then is something that can be attributed distinctly to certain figures. So, for instance, a certain family or a set of brothers that have been very prominent in Sri Lanka. Others say it's to do with the bureaucracy. It's a civil service. It's more structural and endemic than just a few brothers. And then there are those who hold the view that actually the international community, the political community at large, has been silent enablers of the mess that Sri Lanka finds itself in. I was just wondering, from your point of view, as more of, I guess, a technocratic, sort of economics-driven analyst and expert here, what do you make of this sort of range of interpretations? Do you see any of them as holding more water or truth than the others?
So, in my view, I mean, there are views that certain families have done it, but I would say that it's as a whole, a bureaucracy, political families, and most importantly, the people of Sri Lanka as well. So, because let me just go into some of the history. I mean, people, presidents, prime ministers were voted into power because of populist promises, rise from the moon. Then we had bread at 3 rupees or a salary increase of 10,000. Free fertilizer, low taxation. So it was also something that the people wanted it, accepted it. So the politicians gave it. So if we are going to, the people are not going to take the blame, I don't think we can come out of it properly if there is a proper understanding. And most of the voters did not have a proper understanding. So that is one factor. But at the same time, I think there was also a sort of a shift in directions. Because after 1977, when the reforms were brought in by President J.R. Jayawardena for 17 years, and followed up by Ranasinghe Premadasa, and when President Chandrika came in from the opposition, it was a totally different party. Her mother was responsible for very drastic social change. The surprising thing was President Chandrika continued the drive. So many privatization was done, and trade was liberalized. So there was a sort of a consensus from 1977 till 2005. From 2005, we saw sort of a shift towards import substitution. So that is an area where we need to find, because now global trade has changed. We're looking more into tapping into global supply chains. Like an example would be an iPhone in China. Only 7% of the value addition is done there, and 1.5 million work for it, or 1.3. But still, even a manufacturing superpower such as China needs components from 43 different countries to produce an iPhone. So if you're going to say, like, if Sri Lanka can do this with just over 1/100th of the population of China, I mean, that's a sort of a impossible task. And lastly, we also need to work on the ease of doing business. I mean, there's a lot of bureaucracy. We're 99th on the ease of doing business and 162nd when it comes to law enforcement. So sort of like ease of doing business, the resistance, in my opinion, would come from the bureaucracy. And it kind of explains why Sri Lanka has one of the lowest entrepreneurs to GDP ratio. Formally 1%, informally 3%. Vietnam, Thailand, it's over 20%. So two ways of the economy expanding, the private sector. One is for current businesses to expand. The other is to bring new businesses. So without a proper drive for entrepreneurs to come in, I mean, improving ease of doing business, it's going to be a hard way forward.
Thank you, Talal. So let's move on to